Are you considering moving your business and your family over here to the Costa del Sol, but you don't understand the process, the frustrations and everything else? Well, you're in the right place. This is the Nusun Network, and I'm Chris Cassidy from Nusun Realty, and we help international buyers like you find their next dream home. Today I'm joined by Ryan Atkin, who is a coach, a personal trainer and a father who has recently up sticks and moved here to the Costa del Sol with his family. We're going to be going into everything about the challenges, where he's at in the process and what the future looks like. Let's dive in. So Ryan, welcome.
Chris, how are you doing?
Welcome. Yeah, so can you just tell me and the audience who you are and what it is you do?
Of course. So my name's Ryan Atkin. I'm 31 years old. Recently moved here about a month ago, so not long at all. And we met, two weeks ago?
Something like that,
Small world. So we moved from Glasgow. I'm not originally from there, but we moved from there. My wife, my kids are all from there, to Mijas. We run a coaching business. We help women lose 10 kilogram, rebuild their confidence without sacrificing time with the family or careers. My journey started out as a personal trainer about 7-8 years ago now. That developed into more group coaching, online coaching. We owned a gym, which I'm sure we'll come into. We sold that before we moved here. And it's the online business that we run now. I've also got a young family, my 2 kids.
Yeah.
So Arla is about 20 months now, so she's turning 2 soon. Albie's literally just turned 4. So 2 kids, young. Everyone said we're crazy moving here with 2 young kids. The chaos, the business. But yeah, we're here.
You're here.
Yeah.
And what made you, I mean, obviously, you're settled and you mentioned Glasgow, right? But it wasn't quite Glasgow you lived, was it?
Yeah, it was even closer to where you're.
Well, you lived in the same estate as where I lived, right?
Exactly.
And Bishopton.
Bishopton. So my wife, we actually just got married, literally. It was a big surprise the week before we moved out here. So we're only just married as well.
Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers. So my wife's from Linwood, their whole family's from Linwood. We lived in Paisley for about 5 years, which was where the gym was. And we moved to Bishopton. We was in there only for a couple of years.
Yeah, I was there for about 4, I think. 4 years. I think I left just then you've arrived there. I think that's how it's worked.
Lovely estate, family estate, a great school on there. I think they're developing more and more.
Yeah.
Really nice place to live.
That is.
But yeah, it's a small world. I can't believe I walked outside a bar with a family and I was like, "Are you from Glasgow?" Yeah, I stayed in Dargaville.
In the same area?
Exact same area, yeah.
But that is an ideal area for families, right? The school's a new school and everything, loads of nice people, you're close to everything, but then you've still made the move to here. So what triggered that? Was it, and how did that conversation come about?
Yeah, it's been something that's been on our mind for, I would say, a long time on and off. We actually, if I go back, me and Louise, we met in Ayia Napa when we were 19, so it's like a mad story. We went and done a summer abroad, we met over there, and I was at university in Nottingham, she was in Glasgow, and we were long distance for a while. Everyone said, like, "Oh, it won't work, it's too far away," or that. We kept seeing each other, jumping on the megabus and all that, see each other, hardly any money, using parents' money as well. And we made it work, and then I ended up making the jump to move to Glasgow. And ended up there, with our first house in Paisley. Then we went travelling to Australia, Southeast Asia, done a lot together. This is all obviously before kids. Then we decided a couple of years ago to move to Bishopton, Dargaville, to get the kids in. It's a nicer area, and it's a nice school. And then, the conversation came about. We've been coming back to Mijas for a few years now. We first came for Louise's dad's 60th to a really nice villa in Jardin Botanico, which is between Miraflores and La Cala. And we just kept saying, God, I think we could live here. So we came the following year. I'd done a bit of work for a month just to see how it was, and we still enjoyed ourselves. But I'd done enough whilst I was over here to say, do you know what? This could work. So we came back on a little holiday. Then we came back in February to look at properties and take it a bit more serious. And we found, I suppose we'll come to that in a second, but we found the property we really wanted, and it all just triggered from there. We went to get the visa and everything else.
We're here now,
so.
And how has that been going? I mean, you're only fresh here. Obviously, you've got to think about schools
Yeah.
and everything else, and it'll help other people who are thinking. But how have you found that process? Where are you currently in that process
It's
as
been
well?
hard, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. We're both very close to our families. I've moved about a lot. I would say moving to Nottingham from Sheffield, from Yorkshire, to then move to Glasgow.
yeah,
So I think it's probably less of a shock for my parents that I've moved. And my mum did actually say, I always knew you'd eventually do it.
yeah,
Whereas Louise, she sees her mum and her sisters every day. They're like that,
yeah.
FaceTiming constantly, like to the point I'm sometimes like, what are you talking about now? It's like 3 times a day. So I know it's been a lot harder for her emotionally, I would
Yeah,
say. The kids have been the biggest stress. I think when you've got kids, that is always you just want the best for them. And
of
we've
course.
given up something, you know yourself, we've given up something that was a dream, to live in Dargaville, to
Yeah,
have a nice house, to have a nice area, a family area, nice schools, all the good things that came with that, to then go, wow, we're going to give all this up. We've invested a lot of money into it, and we're effectively going to sell everything we own and move
start
to another
again.
country and start again. Like, what are
Yeah,
we doing? And we did have those late night doubts where we're like, are we really doing this?
yeah,
Tears and, emotions all over the place. And we arrived, we literally had 5 cases.
right.
So 4 extra large cases, a smaller one, and then hand luggage. We sold everything in
Yeah,
Glasgow. House, furniture, clothes, literally everything we owned.
yep,
We came over with cases. And we're renting for the next couple of years
yep.
until the house is ready here. But we wanted to get the kids in Spanish schools, so we've been applying. We actually visited earlier in the year a nursery for Arla, and we actually found it quite difficult to get a visit for Albie because he goes into preschool here. It's a bit
Yep.
different, I think. So that's where we're at. Albie's been accepted,
Oh, awesome.
and Arla yesterday we literally got the news, got the email saying yes, she'll start on the 3rd of September in the dream nursery we wanted us to be in here. And the preschool for Albie was actually the school that was in front of the villa when we first came out here.
All right, okay.
So for me, it felt a
Meant
bit
to be.
like it was meant to be. We
Yeah,
kept walking by it the first time we seen, like, look at that school, look at the kids, they look so happy, they're out playing. And now he's going to that school. It's really weird. It's like full circle moment. It gives me goosebumps actually thinking about it. But that's where we're at. Kids' applications are done. They start in September.
yeah.
It is Spanish school, so that does bring a lot of nerves. Not so much about, I would say, Arla, who's in nursery. She's younger.
She'll build a sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Al, because he speaks. People have told us maybe give him a few months. I'm sure your listeners will have some advice on that as well, but give him a few months. But we're throwing him in the deep end.
yeah.
We are nervous. Of course we are. It was safe. It was comfortable back in Glasgow. We had a nice house. We had everything going for us. To give all that up, it's been hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
But exciting at the same time, right?
Very exciting. And that's driven us forward for sure. Because like you can have a level of hard and then the excitement's just above that, and that's pulled us forward.
Yeah,
So we've been following that excitement and that unknown.
yeah,
It is slightly unknown. It's that edge that take a risk, or, I don't want to get 10 years down the line and I'm like, what if?
yeah.
And the kids are in schools, there's no chance getting them out now because they're older.
They've made their friends, they're embedded and everything
Exactly.
else.
So it just made sense to do it now, and it has been hard, but it's also been amazing to actually live lightly
Yeah.
and take the risk and take an adventure and
Get rid of
do
all your
it.
possessions and all that,
Yeah.
your worldly possessions,
Oh,
and
honestly,
that hold you down.
I feel like I went down a path for a while with the business and, with life of wanting more. We had the GLE, we had the Tesla, we had the cars, we had the house, we were doing very well. And it ended up being more and more and more. And I feel like I went down a bit of a path personally of chasing that. And actually it didn't feel right and aligned. So, having less now
Yeah,
has felt really freeing.
yeah,
It's felt really nice, and it's given me a better balance with the kids, the business. I've got my passion and my energy back for the business, my line of work. I've got a really good balance with the kids now. I'm more present than I was 2 years ago when I was building a team and, growing the business and everything else. And it's just felt really nice. It's been a big risk, but we're here.
you're
So,
here.
yeah.
It's funny because I think as well the difference that I've noticed, especially the estate that we're from, it was a new estate.
Yeah.
A lot of keeping up with the Joneses, especially there going on. It's what's your car and what house have you got and all this stuff. And it's just stuff, right? But you don't really get that here from what I've seen. I've been here a wee bit longer than you, and you don't really get that view because half of the cars, you don't get me wrong, you go to Benus, you see some Ferraris and all that.
Yeah.
But the majority of cars are all beaten up.
Oh, the one
because the
I've
traffic's
got.
crazy. The traffic's wild here.
100%. Yeah.
The driving's not the best.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter as long as it gets you around. Here it's a wee bit different, and you can walk a lot more. The weather's better. The public transport's great
100%.
as well. So I think there's a lot of that stuff, and I've noticed that a big difference just getting away.
Have you?
I go back to Scotland a lot.
Yeah.
To see
How
my
often
family.
is it you go back?
Every 6 weeks I go back. I'm normally back there. So normally every 6 weeks I go back for like a week. So yeah, it's good to be back, but it's good to get away from it as well. And I think the weather helps, and you've got a lot more outdoor. You know it yourself. You're outdoors a lot more. Just general things where normally you'd be like, I'll take the car to the shops. Now you're like, no, I want to walk to it.
100%.
And I've got a little moped I just whiz around.
Yeah,
So
have you?
you should get one. You should get one for whizzing
I
around.
was thinking about that, a little Vespa or something like that. Yeah.
No, they're really handy to have.
Good.
And so you've moved your business here.
Yeah.
Now your family's here now. You're sort of renting. You're getting established.
Yeah.
How are you finding because obviously, I mean, just for me personally, right? It was for me. I had to come. I basically came here and set up a new business.
Yeah.
So I completely started from scratch, and I had to do loads to get my name out there and stuff. But I think even bringing your existing business over, you're still going to have to do that, especially if you want to get clients, like face-to-face type clients and everything. But how have you been finding that? How have you been able to do that?
Yeah, so it's been great. My results right now, in my opinion, are better than they've ever been. I've been getting great results, and I think that's where my reputation developed for 7 years now. We incorporated our company back in 2021. I was an early adopter really of online coaching, so that was before COVID. We adapted a little bit through COVID, but I've been doing this a while. So face to face for me is actually through WhatsApp, is through, it was Zoom at one point, phone calls, stuff like that.
Yep.
I did own a gym. We set that up a couple of years ago, sold that just before we came out here. So that was face to face. The way my life's been heading with the family and I don't think you can ever truly have true balance, but we've been working towards a bit of a better balance so I can be there more for the kids and be that bit more present, and also, earn a good living through the business as well. And I think maybe a few years ago we were having these months that, if we're talking financial, that when I was younger I thought that I'd only earned that in a year, and I'd done it in months, and I found myself going down this path of like wanting more financially and more things, like we said, with the house and the cars and everything else. It just didn't align, and maybe I learned a lot from some old mentors that I had, and took a lot away from those, and they were great. But what I found recently is I don't necessarily need the team. I've got a really lean business now.
Good.
We make a good living financially, and I love what I do. I found my passion back. We're getting more results than we ever have. I'm in the business as well as on it. I was told at one point to create the team to fully be on the business, but actually I didn't enjoy that as much. And I got into business to enjoy my business and to enjoy coaching. And I found myself getting leaner and leaner. Staff obviously, and what I do, and I've got a really good balance. I see the kids, in the evening we jump in the pool, we play together now here. I do my check-ins on certain days throughout the week with clients. I'm communicating with them Monday, Tuesday. I've got weekends off now. I've got a really good balance, and like you said, with the outdoor lifestyle, we're able to go out more. We're still healthy and fit anyway, rain, snow, wind, whatever. I was training for an ultramarathon last year, doing it in the rain. So, I'll always stay fit and healthy no matter what the weather is. But the sun, the outdoor lifestyle does make a difference. You can walk to the park with the kids with your shorts and flip-flops on.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's nice. So it's healthy. But the business has definitely not suffered in any way. It's actually given me more energy to put more in.
Good.
And I feel really, the word's aligned at the minute.
Yeah.
with life, and like what I want is family, work, and to look after my health. I don't need all these extravagant
You don't.
things and stuff, you know, that we mentioned before.
I think if a kid's got a pool, right, they're happy.
Oh, 100. See the confidence that
It's
the
free,
kids.
right?
Oh, massively. See the Arla and Albie. We've been laughing like when we first got here. They were like, Albie was getting upset going in the pool. He was scared.
Yep.
They've got their armbands on, but they're now floating about on their own. We just obviously
Happy.
we're with them, but
Yeah.
they float about, and we're like,
Yep.
the confidence is growing. They're happy. We've got a big smile on our face because we're watching them happy. You know, happy with the business. I don't know, there's just been this new lease of life, and it wouldn't have happened if we didn't take that risk and go, do you know what if? Let's do it.
Of course. And just in terms of your business, I mean, what is the name? Is it just your name? How do people find you?
Right, so if we go back a couple of years when we had a team of 7 of us, we were Real World Results, and you can still find realworldresults.co.uk online. Most of my results, testimonials,
Yep.
inquiries, everything, just through my social media.
Right, okay.
And it's at Coach Ryan Atkin.
Okay.
On Instagram is my main platform. Also, it links up to Facebook.
Yeah.
But what I found most of my inquiries and results are probably there for is because we're relatable. We share a lot of personal stuff. So
Okay.
working with a lot of mums, a lot of busy women in owning businesses, careers, shift work. We found a way to do it ourselves. My wife Louise lost 11 kilogram last year,
Fantastic.
rebuilt her confidence from down here to up here. And she'd done that with 2 kids. And that was proof in the pudding. And obviously we've been getting results with clients for a while. But I think the relatability factor's there, that we are, you know, taking risks. We are living lightly. We are stressed at times with the kids. We have the tantrums.
Normal people.
Stuff. We're normal.
Yeah.
Okay, if I really diet hard and I push myself, you can push towards a 6-pack. But we live like normal people. We enjoy our weekends. We're in half decent shape. We look after ourselves. We're healthy, and we're willing to take risks. And we're doing all that whilst having 2 kids in a new country now with a different language. And I think that says a lot that, you know, we're positive, we're optimistic, and we're relatable. And that's where my inquiries come from. It's not from, oh, Ryan, you know, Louise, she looks really lean or whatever now, like after losing 11 kilogram. It was the understanding that, they get it. They've got 2 kids, they're stressed, and they're making it work. So there must be a way. And we do it really simply with our clients.
Yeah.
So
it's not like these super ultra athletes. It's just normal people. Looking to get help from normal people like yourself who are doing it right.
In a relatable way that's understanding. Yeah. And this another thing I've got lean with the business is, I used to have all these bells and whistles and doing different things, and I was like, I don't need none of this stuff. It's talk to the client, show them where they're going each week, understand and listen to where they're at, what are the problems, deep dive, you know, understand that a little bit more, and, you know, find a solution if we can, and help them move forward. There's none of these, you need to be joining this call, you need to be doing this, you need to be adding this, you need to be doing this. It's, let's keep it really simple.
Yep.
And it works. The results are there. So it's like my life at the minute. It's got simpler. My business has got simpler, and it's working even more.
It's working better.
How
are you find? I mean, because one of the things I've noticed here, right, and people always go on to me, right, about the food in Spain being fantastic. But I think the fish and all that's fantastic, right? If you go to nice restaurants, it's great. But in terms of going into like supermarkets and stuff, I must admit I struggle a little bit. I think as well, even if you're going out for meals, a lot of it, they're always want to give you chips or bread.
100%.
Right?
Yeah,
everything, and you're trying to just sort of stick to maybe protein and reduce your carbs. And I find it quite difficult here, but I found it a little bit easier, weirdly enough, in Glasgow, which is known for its fish and chips and everything. But 100%. I just found it easier, especially in supermarkets. But I don't know how you've been feeling about it.
Good question. We're having a bit of problems at the minute with Albie and his eating and his beige foods and chicken nuggets and chips, and a little bit stressful. Arla's great. She just eats everything, fruit, veg, the full works. Totally opposite. For us, the fresh fruit section, weirdly, this is just one random thing. The tomatoes here just really hit the spot.
Oh, fantastic.
Amazing. The fresh fruit, veg is really good, we've found.
I agree.
But you can still get your unhealthier foods as well, of course. And we've just got a good balance where we'll have breakfast in generally, you know, your eggs, your healthy fats, avocado, tomatoes on a bit of toast.
Yep.
We'll generally have a healthy lunch. Maybe we've been having these chicken skewer kebabs things we put in the air fryer.
Yeah.
And then for dinner, to be honest with you, if it's the weekends, again, you know, we're normal people. We might go out for pizza pasta,
Yep.
but during the week we'll probably be making like a pasta dish or something.
Right. Okay.
So we eat similar to back home.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think there is a. People say it's healthy. We're not massive on fish either.
Yeah.
So we like fish, but we're not like seafood fanatics.
Yeah,
so I don't really know on that one. Maybe the.
I don't know. For me, I just feel as if it's hard to escape the carbs. Especially if you go to a restaurant, as I mentioned, it's always something with chips. Even if you want to get an omelette in a restaurant,
100%.
it's always comes with chips.
Yeah,
so no chips, please, and it's you know, so there's a lot of that. But I've noticed here as well. But I think it's just the way it is. They're probably catering to us Brits, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
As well. So you're here, you're settled, business is going well, and everything else.
Yeah.
So you've only been here a wee while. So what is the next steps? What are you sort of looking forward to in the next year, for example?
That's such a big question. That everything.
Yeah.
Everything, honestly. Like, we actually are in short-term rental at the minute, so we're in an Airbnb. We move on Wednesday to another Airbnb for a month. Then we've got our long-term. We're actually really looking forward to having the separation of an upstairs and a downstairs in the long term for the kids and bedtime and stuff, because at the minute it's an apartment. That's an exciting thing we're looking forward to, because that's going to take us, you know, we've signed that's going to take us up until the house is ready. We've been told 2027. Not sure if that will be right or not. People keep telling us delays and stuff can happen. So we're excited to go into there. We're excited to get the kids into school. I'm actually really excited to see them grow in confidence with Spanish, the language, and it's just an exciting time. I wish I had this opportunity as a kid, and you know, we are giving our kids that opportunity just by taking that risk of going, well, let's sell everything and move abroad, and you know, take that chance and see what happens. So I'm just excited for everything, to be healthy, to be outdoors more, and watch the kids grow. For me, this was mainly about the kids and giving them a life that I had a great childhood growing up and stuff, but just that next level, because we're dared to dream that it's possible.
Yeah, and if there was anyone else, maybe, you know, on the fence a little bit about doing this and making that, what would you? Is there anything that maybe you've learned that you might do differently? I know it's only been quite fresh for you, that you know, and what would you recommend for them if they're on the fence?
Yeah, there's been some surprises, I would say. Like, you probably know this yourself.
Yep.
There's been, and I think this is probably a good thing as well, because they do everything proper, maybe, or maybe people will tell me they don't. I'm not sure yet, but it's been a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
A lot. Everything's photocopies, and we have realised we should have just bought a printer, because it just makes sense to have one. So we've been going to this paper shop. You know, you don't always deal with the nicest people in some shops and stuff. Some people are nice and friendly, some people, you know, don't give you much time of day, which has been hard to deal with, especially when you don't speak much Spanish. I'm learning, I'm always trying to speak in Spanish, so that's been a little bit difficult, but the language barrier was always going to be.
Of course.
The paperwork, the visa process, you know, that took months really, and a lot of challenges there, and you know, you have to meet certain criteria, but I didn't realise actually that, I think people back home think that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not an immigration lawyer, so I don't know the ins and outs on this, so don't quote me, but I think people think after Brexit that there's no way you can move.
Yeah.
There is so many visa options.
Of course there is.
There's autonomo, I think it's called, which is self-employed. There's digital nomad. There's student. There's, honestly, you can Google this. There's at least 10.
There's loads.
There's loads. Obviously, you have to meet certain criteria, as in, like, for me, working remotely, you know, if you're self-employed, you'd probably have to meet certain criteria as well if you're a student. But it's, you know, an exciting opportunity that we think in the long run will pay off in terms of lifestyle. We're chasing that better lifestyle, not more, okay, money gives you freedom and you know, money is important. We're not chasing more just for the sake of chasing more. We're chasing better now, better quality family time, better lifestyle, better connections, better, you know, better everything.
Better
hopefully.
everything. And when you mentioned the visa process and the paperwork, did you wait until you came here to do that, or have you been doing that
We've been doing
way
that.
before?
Yeah, we've been doing that. That took at least, was it 4 months to go through all that process. A lot of paperwork, a lot of translations. We had a company that helped us with that. We're doing the paperwork now. We're here ourselves, like the TIE appointment we've got
Yep.
today at the police station for the fingerprints. But the actual visa process, we had a company help us through that process. There's an initial fee that you pay, and then there's a lot of additional fees you pay along the way for
Yeah.
translations and documents. And
But they
again,
basically hold your hand through the
they hold your
journey.
hand, and they're Spanish, but they're fluent in English, and they've been great with us, and they
Good.
got us the approval for the visa, which was really nice to get that email through after all the stress and doubts along the way. Will it happen? Will it not? What if the Spanish government or whatever say no?
Yeah.
You know, but it was all fine. Yeah. So
Awesome.
we made it.
Exciting times
So,
ahead.
I know, definitely, yeah.
Well, Ryan, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I'm sure the audience and the listeners would have learnt a lot, especially if from just arriving and some of the pressures and everything, but also the excitement that you can surely see in you.
Yeah,
So,
very.
congratulations.
Thank you so much, Chris.
And
Appreciate
good
your
to have
time,
you on.
mate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers.